Hello again, it's Mr. Pete. Welcome back to Studio B, and I've got a two-part video that I'm beginning today. And you might recall that I made a video last year on the wonderful VEVOR drill grinder. Now, they contacted me again and said, we've got a new model, do you want it? Well, I went into their catalog on YouTube, or on the internet I guess you'd say, and looked at these, and she was right, they had two models. So she did in fact send me both models. Now these aren't cheap, but I think this is the best grinder that I have ever seen, and I've tried them all, other than the genuine derricks that cost $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. You can't beat that. But this is so much better than the myriad of other grinders that I have used over the years. And I'm sure that some of you have used those and had poor results, unless you are a pretty good machinist and you understand all the drill bit angles and the geometry, which would help you a lot when you go to grind these. But in fact, most people don't know that. So these, I'm not calling these grinders for dummies, but it makes it a lot easier. And there isn't anyone in the world that works in a shop that doesn't have dozens and dozens and maybe scores, hundreds of dull drill bits. Throw them out if you don't have one of these, because you're never going to, you're dreaming. But get yourself one of these. Now, this is model 13A. There is another model 13B, which will be in the next part, and it allegedly will allow you to sharpen end mills at all. So be sure and watch that video when it's available. And here are the two other videos made last year. Be sure and watch them if you have not already. And there are the titles, and if I think of it, I'll put the link in the description to both of those videos. Now, I probably mentioned this in the other video, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but these are quite heavy, the VEVOR. In fact, they weigh 16 or 17 pounds without the cord. And I love the fact that you can remove the cord very easily, like with a computer, so you don't have to worry about wrapping up the nightmare like on the Drill Doctor. Now, how much does the Drill Doctor weigh? Well, it's all plastic. This is virtually all metal. About 3 pounds, including the cord. Now, I bought this at a garage sale a couple years ago, and I still haven't done the video on it, so watch for that sooner or later. I have probably used every drill grinder, drill sharpener ever put on the market over the years, and I had several of the Black & Decker models, so that's 40 years ago. They were novelties, they were worthless. Shame on you, Black & Decker, for turning out junk like that. Now, this is probably the most popular one ever made. It is a general brand, but also branded with Craftsman and so on. I never liked these. They probably made 5 million of these. They are at every auction, and usually they have never been used, or someone made a desperate attempt and, you know, ground the end off and ruined them. But to me, these are absolutely worthless. In one of my very earliest videos, I actually threw one of these away in the video. This is another one, because they pop up all the time, as do the Drill Doctors, and I think there's many different models of that. And these aren't real cheap. However, they're cheaply made. Oh, here's a good example while I got it out. This is the chuck solid metal that holds the ER collets for the VEVOR. Heavy quality. This is the collet for this thing, made out of plastic. Which one would you rather own? My friend Bill over in the Quad Cities sent me this some time ago. As a matter of fact, he went to a surplus store out there in the Quad Cities, and they had an entire bit, you know, maybe 50 of these. Some of them were damaged or in parts, and I believe they all came from the Rock Island Arsenal, and I still have yet to make videos on this. This is made by Atlas. Actually, it's quite good. And I had one of these at the high school 50 years ago. They worked great, except that it was still very difficult to teach a student to use this because they just couldn't master the geometry. But if you really cared about learning, this is quite a good one as well, and it's all metal. But you need to attach it to a dedicated grinder with a dish type wheel, whereas these other ones are freestanding, ready to use as is. So we're finally down to the nitty-gritty here of talking about this. I know it was a long introduction, and this yellow never did photograph very well. But what is the difference between the CE13B, and I don't know if they still offer this model or not, and the 13A? And remember, there's another 13B that I'll be covering in the following video. Now, what is the difference between these two? Well, visually here, externally, first of all, I like the color much more on this than the yellow, although this isn't bad. Notice the different shape here of the cover. It's more squared off than the rounded one. And you can put your extra tools in here and your callus will never get lost or dusty. The other thing that I noticed here that is totally different is photographing these real bright colors is very difficult. Now watch what I'm going to do. I know I'm sidelined here, but as I drape the yellow, look at how well you can see the end of it now. Because I'm interested in this area and this area. Now when I lift the drape, watch this darken where you can't see it. So that's why I drape sometimes. Now the far left-hand end of these grinders is the same. So right now I'm talking about the working end, the right-hand end, and they are both using the same collet chuck for the drills, as you can see. But on the older model here, on the yellow model, notice that the hole here for the collet is toward the front, as opposed to this one where it is at the back. So that's really the only difference that I see in these, because they seem to operate and grind drills equally effective. So I'm not sure of the change in what they have done here. They apparently have the same motor, same collets, and all the rest of that stuff. So now let's forget about the yellow one and talk strictly about the orange one. Actually, I got a little bit ahead of myself. One other thing to show you here, and that is you can very easily open the covers here. There is a little knob here that you loosen, and they are hinged. And here again you can see the difference between the two models, that the yellow one here does the grinding right here on the front of the wheel, and this one does it on the back of the wheel, if you want to use those terms. Again, I'm not sure why they made the change, because the old way worked great, but so does this. These grinders come with a CBN wheel, which never needs dressing or sharpening, and you might have to replace it at some time, but I suspect it'll last many, many years. But in addition to, and that's fine for your high-speed steel or carbon drill bits, but if you have carbide bits, there's a diamond wheel as well, included at no extra cost. That alone, I suppose, would be $100. Thank you, VEVOR, for sending these to me. They have really treated me well, and I get real quick shipping from them. And again, look in the video description for links to the website. Now, these are not cheap, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're paying for quality. I might also add that there seems to be several other companies that sell these just with a different label on them. Remember, VEVOR itself does not manufacture goods. They are a storefront like Amazon. As you well know, the point of a drill is usually ground at 118 degrees for all of our standard jobbers drills. In fact, you probably never will need to change the setting here, because I haven't, so why would you? But in order to change it from 118 degrees, at which it is factory set, simply loosen up this metric screw and you can change the angle anywhere between 140 and 90. Again, you'll never do that, so get her right back on 118 and lock it for life. I have reground many drill points here, as you can see, practicing on this machine, and there's one that is absolutely perfect, as good as any factory grind. Alright, let's grind a bit. Now there is the point of a 7/16 bit. As you can see, it's not very good. I've seen worse. Now if they're totally mutilated on the end, you may need to amputate part of it or rough grind it into the general shape, or it will take many different grinds here, increasing the depth every time. So you need to experiment with that. So the first thing I will do for the 7/16 bit is to select the correct size collet, which I've already looked at here, and put it into your collet. Remember, these are ER collets at a bit of an angle like that until it snaps in place. Assemble it. Now notice I put a little red fingernail polish from Sophia on there. And put your bit in and just snug it up for now. It has to move a little bit as you make the final adjustment, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now, and that's really very important. Matter of fact, what I'm going to show you now is the most important thing of all. There's a pretty good set of instructions, but really what I'm telling you is far better than what you will find in this book that is written in Chinglish. So, with the drill, again, roughly put into the collet, we have to make a setting here. Now, what it says in the book is not very good, but what I like to do, and you may need to do it too, is turn this clockwise as far as it goes. Like that. It bottomed out, and I'm going to give you another view of this in a minute, but let's set it here, and it calls it a web diameter, which makes no sense at all. So go a full revolution, which they do not tell you to do, and then we're going to go to about 7 or 8, and here's the little pointer right here. Then I will take the collet, and the reason I put red polish on there is that just to show you side 1 and side 2, and you may not need to do that, but at this point push the drill in all the way. By the way, notice that I have this put in and turned to the right. Then again, the drill bit all the way in and rotate it until it hits the stop, and then tighten the collet and it's ready to go. Let me show you another view of that. I'll give you a close-up of the label here in a few minutes, or put it at the end of the video, but zooming in here now, you can see that when you turn the knurled knob here, you're simply raising or lowering this stop right here. And that is so important. And when you put your drill in, watch this now. That's the position it needs to be in, and we're pushing the collet all the way in, and I better loosen this up too, pushing the drill bit in until it hits the stop, and not letting this creep out on you a little bit, or that'll spoil everything. So turn it in, and then turning it clockwise. Can you see it hitting the stop? That's what it's all about. Now, if you have done this correctly, the cutting lip of the drill bit will be parallel with the flat right here, which I've painted red. So can you see that? This is approximately parallel. Be sure and get yourself a drill gauge. Starrett and other companies make these. It's preset at 59 degrees. Or you might find one of these that is a giveaway. This is from Cleveland. Actually, you won't find giveaways anymore, except at a garage sale. I don't think the companies do that anymore. But get one. You can make one very simply, even out of cardboard. Here is your on and off switch, conveniently located. When you place the drill collet into the hole here there are flats, and there are flats on the collet itself. So it simply goes in like this. Do not turn it on yet. And start in this position, and then we're going to rotate it. And that's a cam. Now I'll be opening the cover here, which you should not to do. Be sure and wear safety glasses, although there's very little chance of anything happening because a wheel like this cannot break. But you don't want sparks or dust or anything like that, and work away from your precision tools. There is a minor amount of grinding dust and swarf produced. You'll see a little bit of it right there, but it's not real bad. I should tell you that all these parts are steel or iron, little cooling fan here. So it's just so well built compared to some others, and that's why the thing weighs about 15 pounds. So let's turn it on. Wear safety glasses now. And simply put, and you see how it is now touching the wheel, and rotate it. You see a few sparks. It's not taking off much. Back it out and rotate it at 180 degrees and do the same thing on the other side. And it didn't seem to be grinding very much on that side. You can readily see that it's starting to form the cutting edge. Probably this bit was ground by hand. It didn't take much off of this side, so I'm going to go back and reset it. Now this only takes moments to do. I know I'm taking a long time explaining it, but quite often you're not going to finish your sharpening of a point in one pass unless the tip is in quite good condition. But if it is badly damaged, it might take 2 or 3 or 4, or as I suggest, pre-grind it if you are capable on another grinder, and that'll be much faster. Okay, I've repositioned the drill in the holder, so back in we go. Turn it on. And go back and forth several times. Bring it out. Repeat. And I'm pushing in rather firmly this way as well. And it's getting better, but it's going to need one more. That side is pretty good, so we're just going to go back one more time and we'll have it. Okay. What do we have now? Okay, there it is. It's perfect and it's ready. It's sharp and ready to use. Now everything I showed you there can be done in about 1 minute. It just takes longer to explain it and film it. If all of your settings were correct, you will end up with 118 degrees included angle, which is 59 degrees on each side of the center. Now the most important thing, and this is the Cleveland book that you're looking at, is that you have this point clearance from the lip, this is the cutting edge, to the heel, which is the low edge, and that will vary slightly depending on the diameter of the drill. And as you can see, I succeeded in getting that angle. You're going to find some Chinese drills that are actually ground with a negative angle, and all they do is rub. So that is the most important thing that you're looking for. And then there is the web right in the middle. Boy, that does a nice job, doesn't it? Be sure and practice and read up and learn all about the drill geometry. That is so important. If when using this drill grinder you do not end up with the perfect angle there that you want, it is all dependent on your setting right here. So you will need to experiment with that, maybe even at length. But I've found that it needs to be turn counterclockwise at least a full revolution more than what they suggest in the directions. I'm not going to talk about this hole in this video. I'll talk about it next time, but the purpose of it is to make the split point, which is not always necessary. Matter of fact, that's something I really do not do, but that's the reason for this hole. And you can see the grind wheel down there. That's all I'm going to say about that in this video. I strongly recommend that you do not attempt to grind drills that are smaller than, even 3/16. If you got dull ones or broken ones, in the smaller sizes, throw them away unless you are really on a budget and you have very good eyes. It will be very frustrating, although the collets do go down to these smaller sizes if you want to give it a try, but I do not recommend it. Furthermore, if you have broken off drill bits, throw them away also, because as you get shorter and shorter, the web thickness is greater. Now, I'm going to show you how to thin the web, but not in this video. I'll do that in the following video with Model B. This video is already too long. I probably have 1,000 dull drill bits that I accumulated. You know, you can buy a whole Hills Brothers coffee can of them at a garage sale for $2 if you need to practice. But anyway, as you can see, I haven't done the smaller ones. I'm not going to ever do these real little ones. I'll just throw them away. But these are the ones that I have done, all of them with great success, because this is an amazing machine compared to any of the others that I have used in my lifetime, save for the Derex, but you can't afford a Derex, and neither can I. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, please. It might help me a little bit. Now, if you like this and you are considering buying one, check for the link in the description, and also there's a discount code that I'll put down there, so be sure and use that if you order one, and tell them that I recommended this to you. Now, if you think that I sold out by promoting things like this, I have not. These offers are made to me and virtually all YouTube influencers, and I greatly appreciate that. Again, I haven't sold out. The guys that have sold out are the ones that are telling you, buy this nutritional drink and get some of this life insurance. That's all baloney, and I've had those offers. I told you that a big tennis shoe company said they'll send me $1,400 if I show their shoes. And this isn't one of them. So don't worry. I won't sell out like that, but I'm very glad to promote or talk about quality tools, and this is quality. It really is. Now, this is 15 pounds, and it's got they had to put a handle on it. You know, some of the other ones, you don't need a handle. I just dropped the Derex. I wonder if I broke it. And I wouldn't care if I did. But I mean, this thing weighs nothing. However, it did hurt because I dropped it on my toe. It was heavy enough to hurt. Boy, I'd hate to drop this on my toe. I'd have to call the ER. So anyway, I do hope to show how this works someday as well. And I shouldn't make too much fun of it, because you know, men have a fist fight over these at an auction. I've never seen any of this stuff sell at auctions, so I think it's too new and too expensive. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I didn't get too carried away there. So be sure and watch for the next, where I talk about the one that I showed you in the box. And did you notice that I didn't bore you to death with an unboxing? Why do people do that? They unbox a camera or something, it'll take 15 minutes to do that. It's total baloney. They're just trying to create content when there is none. Alright, enough ranting and raving from Mr. Pete. I'll see you next time. Now, here are the Atlas drill grinders that Bill gave me. Hello, Bill. I hope you're watching this. So watch for those videos sooner or later. We got more than one of these. Some of them are only partial, and I don't think they make this anymore. I know they don't, but there is literature available and information about. Hey, there's a very good And they're showing way too much clearance right here, aren't they? It'll still drill, but the cutting edge will break down very rapidly. I just wanted you to see that this is what they call an Atlas drill grinding attachment. Same company that made Atlas lathes. And there's a parts breakdown and quite a few pages here on how to use it. And they're not written in Chinesium. Do you mind if I digress momentarily? This is a product that I made when I was running Peterson Products many years ago when I was in my prime. And yes, that is me, the biggest dork in town. I'm so glad I didn't have a button-down shirt because you know I had a pocket protector. But anyway, why am I showing you this? So that I could show an entire class of 24 kids sitting before me the drill bit geometry and all about the tip. Now, again, the reason I'm showing you this is there is a man that contacted me, and he said he's a shop teacher, and he has one of those he found in the cabinet where he's working, and he promised to loan it to me, but it still has not come. I was going to make that video before I did the VEVOR video, and that's why I'm a little delayed in producing this, but if and when he does send that to me, there will be a video on, and I hope you watch it.